If you don't want this, to it. If you don't like this, what do you want? Mr. Speaker, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder, is doing so well. And when you take your time to read this budget, paragraph by paragraph, you have no option than to say a prayer for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to implement at least 60 to 70% of all that we have in this budget. Yay! And Ghana will be a good place for all of us to live. Yay! In terms of jobs, a very clear, categorical policies and avenues to create jobs has been provided. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, when I listen to my colleagues at the other side, I become so surprised about the level of confidence. We're in this country when Ghanaians showed you. Ghanaians showed you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is now the turn.
Underperformed. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
It is now. Yesterday we listened to the majority, deputy majority leader, and today we are going to listen to the deputy minority leader. So, Ma, you have 30 minutes. 30 minutes. If it is too much for you, you can lend me some.
Thank you. Thank you. I know my friends from the other side are going to listen attentively for what I have to say on the budget. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity for me to comment on the budget authorized by His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama and presented by our Honorable Finance Minister Kese Ato Ba-Forson. Mr. Speaker, since we started this commentary, I have been quietly sitting, listening to all the commentaries that are coming on the floor of this House. And Mr. Speaker, my impression about the commentaries coming from the opposite side of the aisle, that is our majority side of the House, is one of lamentation. I was really surprised when a contributor yesterday mentioned that we have to create a lamentation book. It is very interesting in the sense that from day one when the budget was delivered or presented, we didn't have any other comments but to let you know that the entire budget is full of lamentations. Issues that have long passed. Government has come, another government has gone, a new government is in place. 1 year full down the line, a budget has been drawn, and we are doing another budget. What are we experiencing? The contributions that are coming from our other side is only full of lamentation of what has long gone. You have taken the mantle. What we expect from you is to fix everything that you think is right. What are we talking about? Yesterday, I was very happy when an honorable also contributed and mentioned that your first year was a correcting year. For me, it is an admonition that you have realized that you didn't do anything concerning your policies. Nothing. You didn't deliver anything in your first year, and you are expecting that in your second year, something good will come out of it. So it now brings us back to the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, I find it deeply concerning that earlier contributions that we have listened to have ignored totally the issue about gender. If I'm talking about gender, I'm not only concentrating on both sides, the male and female. My concern is about the female aspect of gender budgeting. It is interesting that at a time when our nation speaks boldly of, or the government speaks boldly of resetting for growth, job, and economic transformation, I see no solid foundation to support this ambition. What am I saying that? You have all manner of projects which you believe is going to create jobs, but there's no gender aggregation of how you are going to do those projects. How can you then rise up and say that our budget is gender sensitive? I will give you a typical example. A typical example of what I mean by evidence-based budgeting is when you wanted to, in 2025, to undertake the issue of sanitary pad to encourage more girls to go to school. You were able to identify 1.3 million girls that will be distributing sanitary pad to. It is specific, and what we need to interrogate now is whether you were able to even service those 1.3 million people. But I'm happy to note that instead of accounting for that number, the only mention of the sanitary pad in the budget is that 6.6 million packets of sanitary pad has been purchased. What has been the impact? What has been the impact? Were you able to distribute to 1.3 million girls? One of the other issues I want to raise in concerning this particular provision is that there is a mention that this time around you are going to add on to the senior high secondary school girls. But the 1.3 included them. So what is the position now? And that is the question I raised. Were you able to supply the 1.3? I see that it has been conveniently avoided, but you are accountable to us in this House to ensure that what we said is working. Honorable Speaker, there's another issue about this sanitary.
Honorable Deputy Minister, respectfully, we've said the grounds rules. I will afterwards you get the opportunity. If there's something that you think needs to be corrected, you get the opportunity. So, Honorable Deputy Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in the 2026 budget, the only mention of a figure is the 6.6 million. And I have also taken note that the same budgetary allocation that was given in 2025 has been repeated in the 2026 budget. What are we trying to say? Once you've mentioned that you are now going to add the free senior high education, how are we to digress this? What is at stake? Is there the need for funding a balance that you need to introduce before you can add on the SHS students? Or we take it that what has been reported to be 6.6 million, for which cost was 292.4 cedis, is the absolute that can cater for all the girls in both basic and senior high secondary school. Another issue about the sanitary pad is that, Mr. Speaker, I want to let you know that when the issue of pricing was raised on this floor, I couldn't really understand what the issues were. So I had to go to the market myself to go and find out what are the prices. We are looking at a pack of 12, and if I do my mathematics well, it still gives me the figure of 45 cedis per pack. I want the minister to be confirming. This is a pack of 12. Can this pack of 12 be sold out at 45 cedis? This is the copy, one of the sanitary pads that were distributed. That is another one. And they all portray different prices far below the 45,000 that we are talking about. So there are different types of sanitary pads and all below the figure of 20 cedis. So as I indicated, we couldn't really get the import of what has been reported to us, that 292.4 million cedis have been spent on 6.6 million sanitary packs. Honorable, I think in our submission, I also heard about a comment. We in the minority side are not in favor of the distribution sanitary pad. That is totally incorrect. I want to state it here and now that we all advocated for the distribution of the sanitary pad. But my only concern here, another concern, is the fact that when school was reopening for the new semester, in addition to the prospectus that was given to the senior high education, senior high schools, contained the supply, the need for parents to buy those sanitary pads to cater for them. Honorable members, we are here to support a worthy cause, and we believe that it is important that if we want to implement this program well, it is for the good of the people of this country. We are all representatives of the people in Ghana. And I would like to implore on each one of us that the implementation of the sanitary part must be done and done well. Honorable, one other issue about the gender is women are about 52% of our population. And we have it on record. Yet the budget fails to reflect any meaningful gender-sensitive analysis. It is important that all the programs that were mentioned and all the programs that you are promoting out there, I repeat, that must be
Leader. Honorable members, leader, respectfully, we set the grounds rule. I've already indicated to him that I'm not allowing that. So after the leader has spoken, then we will find a way. If there's any correction, then, but just interjecting, no, I wouldn't allow that. So, honorable leader, just go on. Honorable deputy minority leader, who?
Mr. Speaker, there was a contribution from our side of the House. It was not to discourage the program, but the suggestion was to seek the possibility of manufacturing these sanitary pads, whereby the government could introduce on a regional basis an industry looking at the large sums of money that is going to be applied to it. We can be introduced on a regional basis and create more jobs, which will be very obvious to everybody, the job creation that you are talking about. Many of the initiatives mentioned sound good on paper, Mr. Speaker, but they are not evidence-based. I do not see anywhere in the 2026 budget a clear articulation of how the programs would directly impact the lives of the women that I've been advocating for. If this House is to approve this program, then we insist on specificity. The budget must provide the actual numbers. How many women are going to benefit from all these programs? Mr. Speaker, you will agree with me. You will agree with me that if we want economic growth, women cannot be left out of it. And there should be a conscious effort and a deliberate effort to ensure that whatever programs we are churning out there, women will be the major beneficiaries of those programs. Mr. Speaker, I cannot simply allow programs to be listed without evidence. The clarity of numbers and gender disaggregation data must guide how we project growth and how we evaluate its effect on women. Mr. Speaker, there is a clear failure by this government to neglect the gender budgeting, and it is egregious. And it's violating the CEDA commitments and the NDC's commitment to achieve 30% women representation target by 2026. How many cabinet ministers do we have?
How many?
And how many are women?
How many appointees?
How many are appointees? Honorable Speaker, it is interesting to note that Ghanaians have had high expectations of we politicians, especially the NDC, having come out to appoint a first woman vice president. It was everybody's expectation that by now we should have started implementing the Affirmative Action Gender Equity Act. Mr. Speaker, if I look at page 1 of the bills, item 4, among the bills that have to be presented, what am I seeing? There is a clear evidence or absence of the regulatory framework that will be required to implement the Affirmative Gender Equity Act. What has happened to it? 1 year down the line, we don't know where we are going. It is the expectation of Ghanaians, because you have shown the light and we were expecting that you are definitely going to do something about it. Yes. We need to ensure that whatever you promise does not become a failure. It was noted in the 2025 budget that 50 million have been assigned for the Women's World Banking. 51 million. Now we are adding on 401. What has it been? What we need to know is that, was the money disbursed? No. What are we going to do to implement? Because we don't have any guidelines as to how to implement those monies. They have actually been allocated, but without any guidelines for its implementation. Honorable members, you will remember that you know that there are so many programs, policies that can be, when mentioned, that can be described as good policies. But the implementation alone can turn it into a bad policy. So I don't see why you should be up and hailing and clapping because of programs that don't even have the basis for implementation. There is a modern budget must present a gender tagged results framework, beneficiaries, expected outcomes, regional targeting, and indicators. This budget does not meet that. Ghana cannot claim to be serious about inclusiveness of women's economic participation. That appears only as a paragraph in a long document. Honorable Speaker, it is important for us to know that as we stand here and present our budget, let us turn to the matter that affects the dignity of education and well-being of millions of girls. The free sanitary pad. I'm emphasizing again. It is a program that must be done and done well. So, what I expect from you is to come up with clear guidelines, clear figures. I want us to invite the ministry here to give us a good account of what has been done for us by the expenditure of 292 million cedis. And if 292 was not enough in the 2025 budget, why is the same amount being allocated? Mr. Speaker, I'd like to plead with you that we have to take note of that, and that answer must be solicited from the implementers of that program. Is the government planning to cut the program? Or were the earlier figures inflated to justify excessive expenditure? Mr. Speaker, I am moving on to where the amount of the 452 million cedis from last year 2025 to this year to next year 2026. I want to ask, if the private sector is leading the initiative, what is the 110 million doing? I'm talking about the 24-hour economy. Which sectors does it target? Who are the expected beneficiaries? Is it for the private sector? Then I go straight to unemployment. Mr. Speaker, recent reports indicate that 70,000 trained nurses, midwives, laboratory technicians, and other health professionals remain unemployed after completing state-regulated training. Yesterday, the minister was around to inform us that he's only going to employ 15,000 people. What is going to happen to our nurses? I intend to bring it to your attention that we were here when a contributor mentioned that you are building chip compound on every district, metropolitan or municipal assembly, and ultimately you are going to have 276 chip compound. Who are the staff that are going to be engaged to do that? Because currently, at a time when the CHIPS compound are understaffed, district hospitals are operating below capacity. And then let us also look at the issue of allocated billions to flashy promises and politically convenient programs. Then surely we can space in the budget to employ nurses and midwives whose skills shall save lives. It is important that this issue is brought to the fore for discussion, a general discussion. What has nurses done to this government for them to be trained and be left alone? What has nurses done to this government? It is important that you look at the avenues of doing that. You have only allocated 100 million to support the one district, one hospital issue. Agenda 111. But you have not trained the trained nurses. You want them to fly off to other places to go away.
What have they done? What the teachers and nurses have done?
So, what have the nurses done? What have the teachers done to this government that they are not being taken care of? And there are no provision for them to absorb them into the system to work. What have they done? It is important that we know that something will be done about the 70,000 people. If you are not going to be able to absorb 70,000 people, where are you creating the 800,000 jobs? Is it a sin to be a teacher or a nurse? Is it a sin to be a teacher or a nurse? Why are you ignoring this group of people? It is important.
Why are you against the teachers?
It is important that we ensure that you pay attention to them, because a good chunk of money has been spent to train them, and it is important that these people are given the necessary attention and employment they need. What have teachers and nurses done to our finance minister for not making the right provision for them to be absorbed into the system?
Honorable Leader, be winding up.
Honorable Mr. Speaker,
Just 30 seconds.
the fundamental question Ghanaians continue to ask is simple. Where are the jobs?
Yes.
You promised the youth of this country.
Yes.
Let us be specific.
Yes.
How many jobs have been created under the 24-hour economy? How many jobs have been created through the National Codex program?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Leader.
Speaker, we may have to go back to want to vary. What's this? Okay, Speaker. As you directed, the Honorable Dr. Park, Deputy Minister for Education, wants an opportunity to correct one or two information put out by the Deputy Minority Leader. So, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Leader. Honorable